Hello everyone. Today's video is about the best way, in my opinion at least, to wean off of digestive enzymes. Just before jumping into the video, if you don't mind taking a quick moment to please like, share, subscribe, and or post a quick comment on the video, I'd really appreciate it. So thanks in advance for taking a second to do that. And as per usual, nothing I'm saying should be construed as medical advice. This is for informational purposes only. And if you need medical advice, please talk to your healthcare provider to get that advice. So I posted a video a few weeks ago and it was entitled, "Will I Stop Making Digestive Enzymes If I Supplement with Them?" The punchline from that video is no. Don't believe there's any published evidence showing that, and there's no clinical evidence to suggest that in my extensive experience recommending digestive enzymes. So just saved you about 8 minutes from needing to watch that video. But if you want a more nuanced conversation around it, please feel free to reference that video. So someone posted this question saying, if a person has been on them for a long period of time, so i.e. digestive enzymes for a long period of time, in your opinion, is weaning off slowly to allow the body to adjust better than going off all at once? So thank you for the question. So I'm generally a big fan of weaning my patients off of supplements in general. Granted, I have a fairly biased patient population, and that most of the patients that I work with, I just saw a full day of these patients, so been talking too much. Most of the patients I work with are suffering from complex chronic illnesses, or they were suffering from complex chronic illnesses, and they're no longer anymore, thankfully, but we're working to get them to the best state of health possible, ideally back to a good state of health and striving for an optimal state of health. And so with a lot of these patients, they've been through a lot. We want to minimize flare-ups, we want to minimize regressions and things like that. And a lot of things that I treat patients for, things like mold toxicity and chronic infections and small intestine bacterial overgrowth and various things like that, they have a fairly notorious reputation of coming back, or patients relapsing if they come off the protocols too quickly. So I've really sort of been trained, if you will, by my patients over the course of time to be a big fan of weaning folks off of things because we just don't want to have relapses or flare-ups or whatnot. So when it comes to digestive enzymes for my patients, I usually recommend that they wean off of them. Now, there are exceptions, and especially for folks like the rare time that I get a generally healthy person who just has some run-of-the-mill IBS or something like that, or I have a patient who got traveler's diarrhea, they developed SIBO from that, and it's just a pretty cut and dry case. We test them, treat them, things are doing so much better. In many cases, those patients will have they'll come in for a follow-up appointment. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing better. Okay, great. Feeling really good. Wonderful. What are you taking right now? Are you still taking your enzymes? Oh, I ran out of those a week ago. Okay, no problem. How are you feeling since you ran out of them? I'm feeling totally fine. Great. In a case like that, I wouldn't be, thinking like, oh, okay, you've got to go back on them. You've got to, start tapering off the dose or something. Like if they've run out and they're feeling fine, then it sounds like your body doesn't need them anymore. Or I've had other patients where maybe they went on enzymes, they're feeling better, they're on, say, their SIBO protocol or yeast protocol or what have you, and they've improved significantly, say they're 60, 70, 80% better. They come in for a follow-up and they're still not 100% better, but they ran out of their enzymes, or they were running out, and so they rationed out the ones that they had left. Maybe they were taking 2 per meal, now they're down to 1 per meal or something like that, or they're only taking them with their particularly high fat or high protein meals. And again, say, okay, how are you doing on that lower dose? I'm feeling no worse for wear. Okay, great. We can probably stick with that lower dose, or maybe just wean you all the way off. So certainly not to say that one always needs to wean off of enzymes. It's one of those supplements that if I had to list, say 50 of the top supplements or herbs that I recommend, enzymes would be fairly high on the list of supplements that I wouldn't be too concerned about needing to wean off really, really slowly. But if a patient's been struggling with their digestion, they're feeling better with the enzymes, but they're at the point where they're either feeling 100%, we're ready to start weaning them off of things, or they've hit a plateau, and we're just trying to minimize the pill count because they're on enough other stuff and maybe they don't need the enzymes anymore, I would generally taper patients off as opposed to just getting them to go off cold turkey. When the patients do stop cold turkey, it's usually because they've run out of the supplements, and it's they've already done it themselves. But normally, for my patients, I usually recommend depending on the supplement and everything, usually like a 50% taper. So if they were taking 2 per meal, then I would say, okay, maybe try taking 1 per meal, do that for say a week or so. And then if that's going fine, maybe just take them with your, particularly high fat or high protein meals, and then do that for a week or so. And if that's going fine, then maybe just stop them entirely. And oftentimes, I'm a fan of asking patients to finish off the bottle, because we don't want to waste supplements. They cost too much to be throwing them out. But with digestive enzymes, if they do have some kicking around still, like let's say they just bought a new bottle, they're like 10 pills into their 90 capsule bottle, and it's like, oh, we're going to start weaning, and they're still going to have some left. I don't look at that as a bad thing, because it's never, in my opinion, for many of my patients, it's never a bad idea for them to have some digestive enzymes kicking around, just in case they're going to go to a birthday dinner or some holiday party or something like that, and they're going to be maybe eating gluten or dairy or refined sugar or more complex carbs or more whatever than maybe their body is 100% happy and comfortable with, then it's not a bad idea to have some extra enzymes kicking around. It's what I do myself. If I'm traveling, visiting family, eating things that aren't 100% in line with my generally very meticulous diet, then having some enzymes just for extra digestive support isn't a bad idea. So again, thank you for the question. I hope that this was helpful. If anybody has any further questions on this topic or questions on anything else, just post in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer as soon as I can.